Live from the Civic Media Studios at WRCE in Richland Center, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Allbaugh, along with our outstanding producer, Mr. Aaron Zommers. It is Monday, the 24th of March, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 12 noon. Welcome in, everybody. One more show here from our beautiful studios in Southwest Wisconsin, Richland Center, where I'm at today. Many thanks to Phil Nee, our general manager, for letting us hang around an extra day. And back home, down on State Street in downtown Madison, the world headquarters at WMDX and Civic Media, Mr. Aaron Zommers. Zommers, how is the old remodeling going so far?
Well, it appears that phase one of the remodeling is complete.
Phase
the new
one?
table's all in there.
All
yes. There's still some additional equipment that will have to be ordered because, this table is custom made. We can't just buy something off the shelf.
No, not at all.
But it is now functional again, so we'll be glad to have you back here in Madison.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks so much for holding things down there and doing a great job as always. How was your weekend, Mr. Zommers? Did you watch any basketball? Did you watch any hockey? What did you do this weekend?
I did not watch basketball or hockey. I thought I would, but I didn't. I hung out with some friends. It was one of my friend's birthday, so we played some board games, as my friends and I are wont to do. That's pretty much it, and I'm okay with that. How about yourself?
Hey, that's to each their own. I had an exciting weekend of, like many folks, of watching the NCAA men's basketball tournament as we have our little pool here at Civic Media, and saw many of my hopes go up in flames. Well, my national champion, Michigan State, is still in it. Of course, the Wisconsin Badgers bowed out in round 2. Marquette bowed out in round 1. Still some very exciting basketball. Maryland won last night at the buzzer to get into the Sweet 16. It was John Calipari, now at Arkansas as a 10 seed, beating number 2 and Rick Pitino, St. John's as well. So it is the Razorbacks into the Sweet 16. Lots of people, a little frustration, but all number 1 seeds are still in the round of 16 coming up next weekend. We're going to get into basketball a little bit later in the show. There's also news of the day as well, not the least of which the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, over the weekend, essentially saying that he's ready to go at it with our ally, Denmark. Denmark! I mean, who can be more? It's one of the happiest places in the world to live. The longtime ally, Denmark, J.D. Vance, ready to start knocking heads together figuratively, at least putting sanctions on Denmark all over Greenland. We'll get to that. And of course, we continue to have a constitutional crisis in the Trump administration, still trying to get around the judicial branch by insisting they have the right to deport people without due process to these camps, these prisons in El Salvador. The Trump administration this morning now, asking not specifically on that case, but others, basically wants to go now directly to the Supreme Court and say, are you going to allow these lower judges to, in their words, impede us? So that could be quite the week ahead here. We'll be with you all week, of course. And of course, hour number 2, we have What's Worse today, involving sore backs and other places that get sore. And also, I'm very, very excited about this, Zommers. It is time to do text to win trivia once again in our big break into spring text to win trivia in hour number 2. Your chance to win either $100, a great getaway at the beautiful Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells, and be eligible now for this time's grand prize, a fantastic mattress set from Verlo Mattress. It's going to be fantastic.
So once again, it is not trivia. It's text to win contest, but there's no trivia involved.
I like to call this harkens me back to the old Regis and Kathy Lee, Regis and Kelly days when they always had trivia, and so I get it in my head and know it's not trivia, but it's a contest. But I'm sorry. Thank you for keeping me on the straight and narrow. By the way, it is a statewide contest.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
But first, this is fantastic. And like I say, I know there is more serious downbeat news that we'll talk about a little bit later here in the show. But I want to start off with something that absolutely made me feel better after the Wisconsin Badger basketball loss in the NCAA tournament, made me feel better about the world, could bring people together. And if you were in the Madison area or can be tonight around 6:30, get yourself down to LeBon Arena on campus next to the Kohl Center and welcome in your 2025 national champions, the Wisconsin Badger women's hockey team, who have now won their eighth national championship under the great direction of head coach Mark Johnson. It was, I got to see this. It was on ESPNU, the championship game. I saw the end of, or the middle of period 2, period 3. They went to overtime, and Wisconsin won it in overtime 4-3. I've, at different points in my life, followed men's hockey pretty closely, follow women's hockey somewhat, UW. This was, I'm not a big NHL guy, but I'll watch it during the playoffs. This game yesterday between Wisconsin and Ohio State was one of the best hockey games I have ever seen. And to set it up for you, we're gonna play several clips here. I'm gonna take you through how this happened. That it was the Badgers were down 3-2 with a minute left to go in the third period, the final period, and the Ohio State team had too many players on the ice. They got called for too many players on the ice. That gave Wisconsin a power play. So they had one extra skater on the ice. And with a minute left, Johnson pulls the goalie. So now it's 5-on-3. Or pardon me, 6-on-3. Or 6-on-4 rather. I'm getting excited. 6-on-4. And with 18, and so the Badgers are shooting down there against the great goalie from Ohio State, by the way. And they take a timeout on timeout, but stoppage of play because they couldn't find the puck or whatever. And it turns out that one of the Ohio State girls had taken the puck with her glove and stopped it in the crease. That's that blue part on the ice right in front of the goal. From basically could have gone in. And so that awarded Wisconsin either another minor, which would have given them another person advantage on the ice, or a penalty shot. And Kirsten Sims steps up and takes this, and it was the most incredible hockey shot I have ever seen. And then she gets that, and in overtime, she also gets the game-winning shot in instant sudden death overtime, and Wisconsin wins 4-3. I want to play you a clip to start off with from Mark Johnson the day before. This is from Saturday. The Badgers beat one of their arch rivals, Minnesota. By the way, shouldn't forget that Layla Edwards, the great player for Wisconsin, she had a hat trick in that game against Minnesota. Badgers won that fairly easily. I think 5-3 was that score on Friday to put them into the national championship game. This is Mark Johnson, who they cannot put up a statue of Mark Johnson fast enough on the Madison campus, in my opinion. Here's a guy that won a national championship when he played men's hockey for his dad at Wisconsin. He won a gold medal for Wisconsin in the Miracle on Ice at the '84 Olympics. And then now he's the head coach at the women's team at Wisconsin and has now won 8 national championships. He reminds me a lot of Bo Ryan, former men's basketball coach. Great storyteller. And puts it in terms that his players can understand. He's a great great fisherman. And Mark Johnson on Saturday put this down there and explained his coaching theory in terms of fishing. Listen to this.
Oh, totally. So I'm walking into my hotel room a couple days ago and the heat's not working. It's like, okay, I don't know, man. This is sort of like when I was at St. Thomas at the hotel over there when my room was 58 degrees the whole time I was there, and I'm freezing and end up getting a cold after it, and it's like miserable. So I go into the bathroom and I got wallpaper, and all it is walleyes everywhere. And so my favorite trip is when we go to Bemidji and we could eat walleye every day. Have you ever had walleye for breakfast?
I haven't.
No? Ever fly fished?
I have not.
Yeah, so now I'm looking at my walleye and saying, okay, I'm going to go down this river that's got all these walleyes, and I got a fly rod, right? And I got to go fly fishing. What's the key to fly fishing?
I don't
It's
know.
like putting. Touch, and feel. I got to have a touch and I got to have a feel. So as that lure goes out there and I'm feeling it, and all of a sudden it hits me, boom, you know. So, yeah, touch and feel. So if you want to hit your driver a little bit straighter, you know, what's my grip? Touch, feel. I want to become a better putter. We talked about last night, distance and direction. What am I going to work on? So, and that's, you know, it's, I know we're talking and supposed to be talking hockey, but, you know, it's all in your preparation. So these kids are prepared. They've been working since last July. Had a remarkable.
It goes on from there. But Mark Johnson talking about touch and feel and being prepared. A little bit later in that clip, he talks about if you go muskie fishing and trying to get a muskie in the boat. And, you know, muskie, they can fool you because you can get a muskie on the line, it gets right up on the boat, and then it just looks at you and turns its head and snaps the line and it's gone. And he talked about you got to get the fish in the boat, the muskie in the boat. By the way, whenever they play at Bemidji, Minnesota, the Badgers, Johnson always takes his team into this restaurant up there and they have walleye for breakfast. Not everybody's thrilled about that. But the way he explains that, the touch and feel, whether it's a putter, whether it's fly fishing, it's all about being prepared. And that all came into play yesterday when the Badgers really, really needed it. And the Badgers are awarded this penalty shot. And you don't see Johnson going up and down the sidelines looking at his players. You know, who are you? You're going to do this. He just stands there. He's up on the bench. He's looking at the girls down on the ice. And the camera has a great shot. You can read his lips. He just says calmly, he says, who wants it? Who wants it? And Kirsten Sims' hand went up. And he just looks at her and says, go get it. That's it. Doesn't tell her how to shoot it. Doesn't tell her what to do. Just says, go get it. Do we have the time to play the Sims cut before? All right, we'll come back and play this. You're not going to want to miss it. This is the best hockey shot I have ever seen. The control that she has on this puck. The ability to fake out the Iowa State goal. There's 18 seconds left. All Ohio State has to do is hold off this penalty shot, and they're national champions. But Kirsten Sims raises her hand and says, I want it. Come back. We'll play it for you. Don't go anywhere. Celebrating the Wisconsin Women Badgers National Championship on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Sorry, I don't know why it froze like that, but
No, that's fine.
Still putting off that deep clean?
It's probably
Let
just a
HS
fluke in the
Pristine
cut.
Clean. Take it off your to-do
Yeah.
list. With over 20 years of meticulous cleaning experience, they make your home sparkle without the hassle. Call 920-932-0000 today. Why wait?
Blind Shot Social Club, a perfect blend of cool, casual dining, indoor golf with space for events, craft cocktails, and non-alcoholic drinks too. A hidden gem on Madison's East Side. Blind Shot Social Club, open to everyone. BlindShotSocialClub.com.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. Folks, we've got to talk about Derek Van Orden. The second-term congressman representing Wisconsin's 3rd District is at it again, dodging public meetings and making all kinds of unhinged comments. As many scramble and struggle to understand the chaos of what's happening in Washington, D.C., and how it's impacting people here in Wisconsin, Van Orden has been as frustrating and disrespectful as ever. In one instance, Van Orden took to social media to berate a veteran who had been fired from his job at the VA by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. And the veteran in question is simply someone who was just reaching out to his congressman, looking for answers. Van Orden's office has also hastily canceled public meetings, and he has made some especially wild accusations about people who have been attending these public events. Congressman Van Orden needs to stop this unhinged madness, and more importantly, be more available and accountable to his constituents.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area and on our website at civicmedia.us. The John and Gordy Show.
Good morning, Joe.
How you doing, guys? It's always good to know what kind of geopolitical nonsense is going on. Trump, of course, is asking the Danish Egg Association if they would ship some of their eggs to the U.S. because of the surging egg prices that we have. Trump,
Isn't that shocking? What the balls to ask for something like that?
Weekday mornings 6 till 8 on 92.7 WMDX and the Civic Media.
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along with us on a Monday, the 24th of March, 2024. Zommers on the board, talking about this incredible hockey game yesterday afternoon, actually. The Wisconsin Badgers taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes on the women's side in the national championship game. The Badgers were down 3-2. And one of the women on the Ohio State team covered up the puck in the crease. The crease is right in front of the net, that blue area. And again, I'm not sure if it was Johnson or an assistant coach. Someone knew the rules so well. Of course, without looking it up, they knew the rules that they said, wait a minute, let's review this. I'm going to read you this rule. This on the coach's challenge. This is rule whatever B sub 4. A defending player, except for the goalkeeper, falling on the puck, holding the puck, or gathering the puck into the body or hands when the puck is within the goal crease. The non-offending team's coach shall have the option of a penalty shot or an optional minor. So the Badgers already had a power play, and there's 18 seconds left in the game right now. Ohio State up 3-2. Johnson has to decide, you want one extra girl on the ice or do you want to take a penalty shot? He says, I'm taking a penalty shot on the review. He's standing at the bench, looks out over the girls on the ice, says, who wants it? Who wants it? And just as he's saying it the second time, Kirsten Sims' hand goes up. And he just looks at her and he says, go get it. That's it. And here now is the call on ESPN, Kirsten Sims on the penalty shot.
Here is Sims moving in on Thiele to try to tie the championship game. Oh, what a move! She does!
An absolutely incredible shot. Go look it up if you can. Mike Clemens posted this, our great sports reporter, on his Twitter. saying, I watched it over and over again. Just incredible. Sims takes it down. And for lack of a better term, to put it in basketball terms, she's dribbling the puck, going back and forth with her stick, with the puck on the ice. And she looks like she's going to the left, her left. And so the goalie goes to her right to stop it. And Sims, with the back of her stick, pulls it to the right at the last second, her right, and scoots it in right behind the goalie because the goalie already committed.
It was patience there.
And it was you're right. It was patience because she could not have waited an additional half a second more or she would have missed the shot. Absolutely incredible. They hold the next 17 seconds or whatever it was, 18 seconds. They hold, ends up in a 3-3 tie after regulation, goes to sudden death overtime. Ohio State did get a couple of shots off early on. The Badgers take it down once again, and here's the call, this time on ESPN. First of all, here is Kirsten Sims winning it in overtime.
Eden sweeping down the wall. Here comes Eden. Looking, firing, save made, rebound, scores! Sims wins the national championship in overtime.
Absolutely incredible shot once again, and I don't have it in front of me. I'll get it for you. One of the other Badgers had fired it, and it ricocheted. It was stopped by the goaltender for Ohio State, bounced off. Sims gets it with the back of her stick and flips it in backhanded into the net to win it for the Badgers in overtime. The great Wisconsin Broadcasting Association Hall of Fame announcer, Paul Braun, for very many years called men's hockey in the Madison area on the Badger Network. He is now calling games on 1070 AM in the game in Madison, and he was there calling it for them for this national championship. Here's that same call, the win by Sims in overtime by the great Paul Braun.
And it's deflected along the boards on the near side. With it is Ava Murphy. On the lead to Eden. Eden cuts in over the line. Moving to the net. Shot. Big rebound. Rebound. Yeah. And the goal. Yes. Is won by Sims. Yes. Sims wins it for the Wisconsin Badgers. Kirsten Sims gets her second consecutive goal. And the Wisconsin Badgers have won the Frozen Four championship in overtime. Yes!
This place absolutely exploded.
The great Paul Braun calling it on 1070 the game in Madison on the Wisconsin Women's Badger Hockey Network. Just gives me chills to hear Paul Braun shot the goal. There it is. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Our own Mike Clemens filing this report earlier today in what Coach Mark Johnson had to say on that penalty shot, on the penalty shot that Sims took.
Head coach Mark Johnson talked about the pressure on Kirsten Sims to score that penalty shot with just 18 seconds left to send it into overtime.
I wanted to see who wanted to step up and own it, who felt comfortable in the setting, because you can't have 1 ounce of negativity in your mind as you pick the puck up. It's got to be all positive, because if you think about what's going on, you're going to miss your putt and you're going to miss the shot.
There it is once again. Going to miss the puck, miss the shot. Wanted to see who wanted it. Had to have a little touch and feel, to go back to the earlier cut from Johnson. Want to just put the lure out there and see which one of those girls is going to grab it and be assured. Do we have time for the Sims Cup before the breaks, Albers, or we'll come back and hear from Kirsten Sims, who was interviewed after that game on what it was like to get not just the penalty shot to tie it up and send it into OT, but also to win it for the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin, as a school, now has more national championships in hockey, men's and women's combined, than any other college in the United States of America. Wisconsin has solidified itself as indeed a hockey school. Congratulations to Coach Mark Johnson of the women's program, all of the women Badgers, who now have 8, count them, 8 national championships on the women's side alone. An absolutely, truly remarkable feat for Coach Johnson and the Badgers. Come on back. One more cut from Kirsten Johnson, and then we'll get into other news of the day around the country and around the state. As the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
How about a little on Wisconsin to come back?
Always continue the conversation.
That sounds excellent.
Media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
A new organization is working to ensure that rural Wisconsin thrives. I'm Stephanie Hoff along with you on a Monday. This is the Midwest Farm Report. The Rural Policy Institute started in July of 2024. It's a nonprofit, nonpartisan coalition of both agricultural and rural organizations. The goal is to research and develop policies that promote generational prosperity in rural communities. Executive Director Bob Welch says it starts with defining what is rural. He references an answer he got from former legislator Joe Hendrick.
What is the density of your municipality? So he uses the example of Minocqua has 5,000 people. Some would consider that a pretty big community, but it's very spread out. It's like as big as 3 traditional towns, rural townships. So it's not dense, so it's rural. But you have a little town right next to Milwaukee that has a population of 2,500, that used to be say, oh, that must be rural. No, it's embedded in the Milwaukee metro. It might even be urban, but it's probably suburban. Joe was able to come up with this definition, which I think we'll use from now on.
Bob Welch is the executive director of the Rural Policy Institute. You can learn more about it at MidwestFarmReport.com. Stick around. We'll take a look at our midday commodity prices coming up.
Severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, floods. What you see in real time helps tremendously in the warning process. The Midwest Farm Report and the National Weather Service are recruiting citizen scientists to relay local weather observations. Tracking vital weather information also plays an important role in gathering climate information used in our daily agricultural workday decisions. Volunteer citizen scientists have been lending a hand for decades and thoroughly enjoy this very important hobby. To become a citizen scientist, visit wisconsinweatherwatchers.org. Improve yield without an extra step with QuickShot. QuickShot is a quality fluency agent and a full nutrient package in one ultimate planter box treatment. It provides all the benefits of enhanced flowability, improved singulation, and fewer skips, but with a powerful jolt of nourishment. This improves uptake and vigor during emergence, leading to stronger stand establishment and increased uniformity. Go with QuickShot to help your seed reach its full yield potential. Contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer for more information about QuickShot. Always read and follow label instructions and check registration status before use.
Monday from Chicago, grain is trading lower. Cash corn is down 1 penny and a quarter at $4.63 a bushel. December new crop corn down 1 penny at $4.50 a bushel. Cash soybeans are down 3 1/4 cents at $10.06 1/2. November new crop beans are trading 3 1/2 cents lower at $10.04 1/4. And July wheat is down 10 1/4 cents at $5.64 1/4. The Class 3 milk contracts are trading higher. The April contract is up a nickel at $16.93 a hundredweight, and the May contract up 4 cents at $17.18. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Stephanie Hoff.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
Sunny and breezy today, with high temperatures reaching the mid-40s and climbing to the upper 40s tomorrow. And it doesn't stop there. Wednesday, it'll be bright and beautiful with highs in the low 50s. And for Thursday, we spike to the upper 50s. Then, rain rolls in for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. It's 33 at our studios.
Are you ever questioning when life will slow down? Are you ever thinking of just relaxing and enjoying the simple things? All of this is possible, even while still being in the workforce. Worthington, Minnesota is a town growing, yet it's nothing like metro life. Professional and labor jobs, a beautiful lake, bike trails, recreation, acres of public hunting, festivals, and great people. Slow down. We're just a short drive away, so come join us. Worthington, it's worth a look.
Winter is out and winning is in. It's our Break into Spring statewide Text to Win contest on your local Civic Media radio station. Your daily shot at a Chula Vista getaway, Milwaukee Brewers club level tickets, or $100 cash. And every entry gets you closer to the grand prize. A brand new Verlo Clean mattress set by Verlo of Madison, including
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network, and it's 34 minutes past the hour of 12 noon. The University of Wisconsin Marching Band. Lots of that song over the weekend, especially up in the Twin Cities. Home of the Golden Gophers, the women Badger ice hockey team dispatched of the Golden Gophers on their home ice on Friday. Hat trick by Layla Edwards, by the way, for the Badgers. Went a long way in doing that. And then played for the national championship against Ohio State yesterday afternoon. The Badgers tied it up with 18.9 seconds left to make it 3-3 on a great shot by Kirsten Sims, a penalty shot. And then in overtime, it was Sims once again with the back of her stick putting the puck in the net. Wisconsin wins 4-3 in overtime. The Lady Badgers now have won eight national championships under the direction of head coach Mark Johnson. Did you watch the game? Any thoughts on this? Give us a call. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. You could also text us on the Civic Media app. You can download it at your Apple or Android device. Simply go to your app store, type in Civic, C-I-V-I-C, Media. It'll come up, takes less than a minute. It's free to download, is what Gail King at CBS calls a deal. Make sure you have it downloaded. Because coming up in just a little less than a half an hour, our first edition of Break into Spring contest. I keep saying trivia. It's not true, but contest. Your chance to win either $100 this next hour or a getaway to Chula Vista Resort in the Wisconsin Dells, and then everybody gets entered in for a Verlo mattress extravaganza. A great package prize from Verlo Mattress is the grand prize this time around. And who can't use a good mattress? People are always saying, Todd, I can't sleep because I got a bad mattress. Well, we're here now to help you next hour. So tune in for that. The only way you can enter, by the way, is on the Civic Media app to text in the answer. I will give you a word next hour, and you text that in. So stick around for that. But right now, I want to take calls on, as I said, the Wisconsin women's Badger hockey team winning a national championship. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Want to bring in one more cut here, and this is Kirsten Sims talking to ESPN about that winning shot in the national championship game yesterday.
Kirsten Sims. Kirsten, you are a national championship. What are you feeling right now?
I mean, it hasn't sunk in yet. It doesn't feel real. This team went to bat all game, and we fought through a ton of adversity, and to come out on top is just exactly what we wanted.
When Coach Mark Johnson goes on the bench and says, who wants it, you put your hands up. What was going through your mind when you said, I want it?
I mean, it kind of was everybody on the bench was like, Sims, you're taking it. And I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. But I was so nervous, and, I just couldn't think while I was going. Just had to try to be confident with it, but it worked out, so.
The overtime winning goal, you had to put yourself a little bit out of position to follow through and score. How did you shoot that puck so out of position?
I'm going to be honest, I have no idea. It just ended up on my stick where I was, and I was like, you know what, wherever I throw it, if it goes in, it goes in, and then, it went in the net, so here we are.
What can you say, and what are you most proud of your Wisconsin Badgers team?
All year. We have been unbelievable all year, top to bottom. This team has had so much depth. There's so much talent everywhere. And to just be able to come out on top and prove it time and time again, and then to really prove it in a game like this, and this is a huge adverse game that we had to go through, and to be able to still come out on top just shows how incredible of a group this is, and I couldn't be happy enough for us.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kirsten Sims on her game-winning, not just the tying goal, but also then ultimately the game winner. How do you like that, Zomers? When she was asked, how did you do that? She goes, I don't know. It just ended up on my stick and I threw it in.
I mean, those are the words of somebody who is in the zone.
Right.
And who has practiced and practiced and played, and it's just automatic. They don't have to think about it anymore. They can't think about it anymore because it gets in the way of their instincts.
You're absolutely right. And it goes back to that first cut we played of Coach Johnson. And sure, he was talking about fishing and a little bit about golfing, but think about the incredible coaching job that he and his team have done this year, and the relationship he has with his players, and the incredible amount of preparation that those women have put in. Because, and this is something I learned in my days at UW-Platteville, broadcasting for the Pioneer basketball team and being around Bo Ryan when he was the head coach there for 3 years, 3.5, while I was there, is that he would talk about this all the time, about attention to detail. I've talked about this on the show before. He always wanted the same bus driver. Whenever we went to certain places, we would always stop at the same restaurants. When we'd have away games, he'd always want to stay in the same hotel. And I asked him one time, I said on an interview, I said, why are we always doing the same thing like this? And he said, well, Todd, it's like this. these guys as student athletes, and particularly then in the 90s, and particularly at Division III, they really are student athletes. No payment at that time. He said these guys have so much they're trying. I mean, most the guys in the basketball team then, these guys were like engineers, some of them. So they had legit, really hard calculus classes, other things. He said these guys have so much to worry about and think about. If we could take just a little bit of that away from them, so they know where we're going to stay. They know who they're going to see on the bus. They know where we're going to eat. There's just a little bit of consistency. Then they can focus on the other things that are more important in the preparation for the game. And if we do things the same way all the time, and he did the exact same thing in practice. I know Coach Johnson does this in hockey. You know, they'll have a situation like that. They'll say, all right, 6 seconds left, or make the penalty shot and we're done. You don't make it, we're doing laps or whatever. And they prepare. So when you get in that real game situation, it's just instinct. It's just an instinct, instinctual to do that. So a huge credit goes to the women on the Badger hockey team. Huge credit goes to Coach Johnson as well. Congratulations. 8 national championships. And again, if you're in the Madison area or you want to take a drive, there will be a welcome home celebration, a big rally. Wisconsin Marching Band will be there, I'm sure, as the Chancellor Mnuchin. All the folks there from Wisconsin, the hockey team, of course, the national championship trophy, 6:30 tonight, 6:30 in Madison at LeBon Arena on campus. That's where the women play. It's right next to the Kohl Center. So the doors open at 6. It first come, first serve in terms of who gets in, so there's no charge. Take the kids if you're in the Madison area, and salute these national championship women for Badger hockey. Congratulations to them. Absolutely fantastic. All right, before we get to the more serious news of the day, Zommers, I wanted to touch on this. I sent you a cut from Charles Barkley. Tell me when you're ready for this. All right, this is fantastic. So this was Charles Barkley. Ernie Johnson, of course, a Wisconsin native, was hosting one of these, I'm not sure if it was TBS or TNT, and they went to halftime. And Ernie throws it to Charles Barkley to give some analysis of the game that they were covering at the time. Here we go.
To AT&T at the half. Ernie Johnson, Clark Kellogg, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. Biggest takeaway from the first half?
Well, I think that's a good question.
Thank you very much.
That's his job. Totally his job.
That came out of left field for you.
Would you expect Ernie not to ask you anything? Would you expect him to sit here and just let you?
Just look at you?
I was you know the game I'm watching. I'm watching Bryant against MSU.
You can't watch more than one game at a time. You watch all these TV shows at one time.
That's at night, man.
What is it now?
They're not all at the same time, man. One after the other. Ernie, I'm not going to lie. I was paying attention to the Bryant score. So get at the Clark or Kenneth, please.
Kenny, you got that is priceless. Yeah, I'll take first. Yeah, that's a first. I wasn't watching. That's somebody else. He's a man of many firsts, by the way.
That was the TNT, TBS, CBS coverage. And how about that for honesty? They go to the halftime, and Ernie Johnson says, well, Charles, what do you think? I wasn't watching. I was watching a different game.
I mean, I appreciate the honesty, but some sports journalism, you could have just said, man, they really played their hearts out there. It was such a good game with a lot of ups and downs. Like some sports journalism is nonsense. But
that's the thing that I think people love about Charles Barkley is he isn't going to do that.
He's real.
He's real, and he's just like, yeah, I wasn't watching. I thought that was fantastic.
I thought so too.
Very good. Well, it was, as we said, an exciting weekend. Unfortunately, the bad news for the men's basketball programs at Wisconsin and Marquette, both of them out. Marquette out during the first game, and Wisconsin got to the round of 32 in the second round, but they were shut down by BYU. The Mormons took them out. But BYU played their heart out. Wisconsin was down by 16 at one point and came back. I mean, it was a great comeback, and I really thought John Tonji had the ball for the final shot. It was a fadeaway jumper, There was some argument. Maybe he got fouled. I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'm not. It was close enough. And the ball just, it didn't go in the basket. It would have tied it up, sent it to overtime. Some people say, why didn't you go for the win? I think that Greg Gard probably just said, take the best shot possible. But afterwards, Greg Gard said he's been doing this 30-some years between assistant coaching and head coaching, and saying this is probably, if not the most enjoyable group of guys he's ever had. And John Tonji, who's done more in 1 year for Wisconsin than John Tonji? What a great player. What a great person. Carter Gilmore afterwards talking about what this journey meant to him, basically revealing that he had thought about not even coming out this year, dropping out of the program because of all the transfers coming in, didn't know what his year was like, stuck with it, earned a scholarship, and we know the rest. Carter Gilmore recovered the ball to give Tonji a shot at the end, by the way. So, and all there are people out there, calling for Gard to be fired and all this because they didn't make the Sweet 16 again. As Trevor Noah says, miss me with that. All right? I mean, Greg Gard did a fantastic. I mean, they were picked to finish 12th this year. 12th in the Big Ten by the media. Finished 5th, half a game out of 4th, I think it was. Got to the championship game in the Big Ten tournament and got to the second round. And again, Wisconsin probably should have been playing in Milwaukee instead of Iowa State. There were all kinds of people from BYU because it's pretty close. Denver, Provo, Utah. So, it's literally how the ball bounces. But Wisconsin men's basketball, a fantastic year once again. Really exciting. And we'll see what happens. You are not in the pool, are you, Zommers? For the
I am not. I don't think I got an invitation for it.
Well, it was in the group chat, I think.
Oh,
or not the group chat, but like it was in like the general chat or something.
Oh, I have the general chat muted.
That's fantastic, by the way.
That would explain it, though.
That would explain it. Yeah. No. Aaron Crano sent it out, and there are a number of us in the pool or whatever. It's not really a pool because there was no entry fee. And last year, Phil Nee here at WRCO Richland Center, he was the big winner of this. All right, let's check my bracket here, my Civic Media bracket. I am in 26th place. By the way.
Out of how many?
Like 30. I don't know. It's not good. It's not good. Our own Bo Hendricks here at Richland Center is in first place. Newsman Stuart J. Waddles in Waukesha Racine is in second place, followed by sales director Chris Moreau. Phil Nee tied for fourth place. So yeah, and then I am way down, way. But get this, I am one place ahead of Pete Schwaba.
That's something.
All right, come on back, talk some serious news. What's happening? JD Vance wants to go at it with Denmark. Denmark, of all people. Come on back, we'll talk about it on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
Lost in the search for your next home? The Aaron Weber Group has teamed with Compass to point you in the right direction. Spoiler alert, it's toward your dream home. Bigger yard? Compass says head north. More closet space? Compass says go west. Haunted basement? Yeah, maybe steer clear of that one. With the
And you
Aaron
got the
Weber Group
cut on
Compass,
Schwab.
you won't go in circles. Because
I'm looking
on
at his
JD
name.
Vance,
On JD Vance. How did I get JD Vance
that
and
comparison.
Schwab confused? No. We have somebody in the company called Kevin Kellogg. I have no idea who it is. I'm not sure
I
whether
don't either.
Clark's brother or not.
Megan messaged me and said, Todd is still beating Carol and I. Shouldn't feel too bad.
Its mission of service to our country and communities. Soldiers train to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. The skilled trades these soldiers perform are the same ones needed in today's civilian workforce. Army National Guard soldiers
Luke
are
is
on a
ahead of me,
fast
and he
track
chose
to
Wisconsin as
skills
national
that set them up for
champion. How does
success
that
at
work?
home, with companies looking to hire the best.
Well, then
With
you know
options from plumber to helicopter mechanic,
his top
everything
score
in
is very
between,
limited.
soldiers are able to select the
Right,
trades
that's
that
exactly
best fit their
right.
lives.
That's why I still have a
Their
chance.
resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession and serve your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
The John and Gordy Show.
Doesn't matter whether they're, red or blue. We're just angry that nothing is getting done. No one's trying to do anything different.
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network for a Monday, the 24th of March, 2025. It is now 9 minutes before the hour of 1 o'clock. Coming up after the top of the hour, fasten your seatbelts, get ready to play. It is time for Civic Media's Springtime for Hitler. No, Springtime to Win. Spring into it. What is it? Break into spring.
Break into spring.
That's right.
Just to clarify,
Break into spring.
Springtime for Hitler is a song from the musical The Producers. Todd's just not bringing up Hitler randomly.
No,
for
no,
those
no.
of you who are
And
not
so
aware.
I'm thinking about here's what's because I've been thinking about this morning, Sommers. What song should we? Because usually we choose a song to introduce this segment. So I'm thinking about Springtime for Hitler because I think it'll be fun, funny. Also, Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. These are suggestions now from our very own vinyl varmint, Phil Neat. He's the host of Those Are the Days. Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. Waiting for the Sun by the Doors. Mr. Blue Sky by, is it Elo or Elo? I don't know.
Yellow.
Yellow.
It's you say the letters, yeah, on that one.
Three Little Birds by Bob Marley. And When the Red Robin Goes Bob Bobbing Along by Al Jolson. Any favorites in that? What do you like? What do you like?
I'm thinking Mr. Blue Sky might be the way to go.
Really? Mr. Blue Sky by ELO. Not LO, but ELO. Really? All
That
right.
stands for Electronic Light Orchestra.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'd forgotten that. Okay. Well, that's that's and the important thing is not the music, by the way. It's the fact that somebody next hour is either going to win $100, is going to win a package from Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells. One of those two things. Somebody's going to win that next
or
hour.
Brewers tickets.
Oh, or Brewers tickets. That's right. I forgot the Brewers tickets in the club level seats at AmFam Field in Milwaukee. And then everybody gets entered in for the grand prize of a fantastic new fabulous mattress set from Verlo Mattresses. It's going to be great. All right, let's get to this quickly. Little news over the weekend. Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, he ain't picking on Russia. He ain't picking on North Korea. He ain't picking on China. No. J.D. Vance thinks the real problem in the world, in terms of America, are the Danes, are the people of Denmark. Here's what good old Vancey said over the weekend on one of the news talkers.
Denmark, which controls Greenland, it's not doing its job and it's not being a good ally. So you have to ask yourself, how are we going to solve that problem, solve our own national security? If that means that we need to take more territorial interest in Greenland, that is what President Trump is going to do, because he doesn't care about what the Europeans scream at us. He cares about putting the interests of America's citizens first.
Not being a good ally. J.D. Vance thinks that Denmark is not being a good ally. Denmark is a member of NATO. Okay? We are sworn to protect them. They're sworn to protect us, help protect us. They've been an ally in the Gulf War. They've been an ally in the war on terror. They've been an ally in terms of energy. Denmark has a long history of being a great ally with the United States of America. And then Vance saying, well, Trump doesn't care how much the Europeans scream at him. It's not about screaming. It's about saying, hey, if you have an alliance with someone, a friendship, it's beyond a friendship, it's an alliance. You have a responsibility to be a good partner in that alliance. You can't just walk away from it because you want part of their country.
Yeah, not even walking away from it, just taking their territory.
Right. Well, you won't give me part of your country. That's not being a good player. I mean, let's think about this. That's kind of what Japan did a few years back, during the World War II, when they went over and they bombed the crap out of Pearl Harbor. When we have been, under this line of thinking by J.D. Vance, apparently now, the United States should have just said, Japan, if you really want Hawaii, it's all yours. We'll be a good ally. No. One country does not get to go and just take over another country. Think about the first Gulf War, when Iraq went in and tried to take Kuwait. And there was a national world alliance that the first George W. Bush, put together, along with Howard Baker, and got a lot of kudos for putting together an international alliance, including Denmark, by the way. They said we cannot let that aggression stand. Oh, guess who else is just taking places by storm? Vladimir Putin, who said, you know what? I would really like Ukraine, because once upon a time, it was part of the old Soviet Union. And Ukraine said no. When they got their independence, by the way, they had nuclear weapons. And they gave those nuclear weapons up because of a promise in writing by the United States and others that said, we will help protect you and your sovereignty if you give up your nuclear weapons. So Ukraine gave them up. And now fast forward to 3 years ago, and Vladimir Putin, unprovoked, attacked Ukraine to take the land. And now is getting Trump and Vance to repeat Kremlin talking points and propaganda that somehow they're not the aggressor, and in order for this to be a ceasefire and to end, Russia gets part of that land. Do you see the pattern? Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are using the same playbook as Vladimir Putin. And it's disgusting. And it's completely and wholeheartedly un-American. Back with our 2 number after this. Don't go anywhere. You could win $100, a Chula Vista Resort, or Brewers tickets. Somebody's going to do it next hour. Might as well be you. Come on back on the Allbaugh Show on Civic Media.
Conversation 92.7.
Do you have the keyword?
John Peterson and
Was there a new email today?
And we'll ask about the
I had to
Alien
ask for
Enemies
it.
Act at a time when we're not
Text
at
it to me,
war.
please.
Will do.
John
Oh,
and
will you
Gordy
get it?
Show, weekday
I can send it as a
mornings,
message in
6 till 8.
StreamYard. I just don't know. Do you have service right now?
Yeah, because I got
Okay,
the
cool.
internet. Yeah, it should
Sometimes
work.
I'm
Yeah, thank you.
overwhelmed by the
If you
hatred
text
and
it on my phone.
misinformation that consumes our world, but I also know that we cannot build a house of justice and inclusion on a foundation of hatred and lies. We have to practice what we preach. At Chance Design Build, we confront injustice the same way we confront a poorly built home, with love, compassion, intelligence, and persistence. We engage our community the way we engage our clients, with honesty and humility and the dogged determination that we can do better. Chad's Design Build, remodeling done well with love.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime?
Really?
Find all of it at civicmedia.com.
Did you get
The
it?
word is hairpiece. Oh, sorry.
This is 92.7 WMDX Columbus, Madison's home for real news and great conversation. A Civic Media station.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franson. The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic says he was mistakenly included on a text chain with Trump cabinet officials as they recently waged strikes on Yemen.
The report in The Atlantic is stunning. penned by the magazine's editor-in-chief. It details how Jeffrey Goldberg was inexplicably included on an encrypted messaging chat with Trump cabinet officials who used the Signal app to share details of the planned strike on Houthi targets in Yemen earlier this month. The chat had Vice President Vance voicing his concerns, calling the planned attack a mistake and urging a delay. Goldberg reports the White House has confirmed to him the authenticity of the texts in what amounts to an extraordinary security breach.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. An appellate panel of judges hearing oral arguments today as the Trump administration challenges a federal judge's temporary block of deportations involving alleged gang members under the president's use of the Alien Enemies Act. And fire crews in North Carolina still battling major wildfires.
Oh, DJ, that's great. You're watching on the on Wausau there. Another great place is Dottie's Dumpling Dowry. In that same general area. Great burgers and fries as well. On the square, I like Cooper's Tavern. That's pretty good. Also the old-fashioned, hard to go wrong with the old-fashioned cheese curds there.
Savannah Tomei-Olsen. A lot has happened in the race for Wisconsin Supreme Court over the last few days.
Good afternoon,
By the way,
Sherry.
Donald Trump made it
got a message from Tony watching on Facebook asking the important questions that I wanted to ask, but we didn't have time for it. To heck with the real news. How'd your battle with the groundhog go?
The groundhog is still free. We can talk about that a little bit. We can talk about that a little bit.
You will have to talk about that for sure.
All right. Oh, do you want to do the thing now?
Was there.
Brad Schimmel was
yeah,
close
we
to
should
an
do
hour
that.
late to the rally. He spoke for a
Okay,
little
ready
over
when you
15
are.
All right. All right. 3, 2, and 1. Hey, everybody, join us next time. We will preview the spring election. 1 week away. Who is on the ballot? What are the referendums? And how can you vote? Join us.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
I'm grateful for everything you're continuing to do now to make sure you save our state.
Meanwhile, Susan Crawford was also
that
on the
audio was
campaign
terrible.
trail over the weekend. Lisa Hale was at one of those stops.
I'm sure it's what was available.
Just
I'm not
hours after
knocking
Brad
anybody.
Schimmel announced that President Donald Trump has endorsed him, Schimmel's opponent in the race for Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Susan Crawford was in Green Bay and Oshkosh.
You know, it was not a surprise, and in fact, I thought they'd sewn it up weeks ago. He's obviously been in the pocket of Elon Musk for many months now. Musk has basically taken over the financing of his campaign. Brad Schimmel is running this race to try to push a partisan agenda to the Wisconsin Supreme Court and turn the Supreme Court into an arm of, you know, the Doge agenda.
Crawford kicked off a 10-day, 2,400-mile, 21-county campaign tour of the state on Saturday.
That's reporting from Lisa Hale, earlier Melissa Kay. I'm Savannah Tomei-Olsen. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
The Badgers women win the Frozen Four. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Wisconsin women's hockey team beat Ohio State 4-3. Kirsten Sims with 2 goals, one to tie it up, the other for the win in overtime.
All year, we have been unbelievable all year, top to bottom. This team has had so much depth. There's so much talent everywhere. To just be able to come out on top and prove it time and time again, and then to really prove it in a game like this, and this the huge adverse game that we had to go through, and to be able to still come out on top just shows how incredible of a group this is, and I couldn't be happy enough for us.
It's the 8th time the Badgers have won the women's national title under head coach Mark Johnson, who praised Sims' performance.
National championship game. If you miss, the game's probably over. Then it comes down to who wants to step up. A couple players mentioned Kirsten. The ownership's hers. I'll take it. Okay, go get it.
There's a team celebration open to fans tonight at the LeBron Arena in Madison. NBA, the Bucks are in Phoenix against the Suns. Milwaukee beating the Kings over the weekend, 114-108. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
Sunny and breezy today with high temperatures reaching the mid-40s and climbing to the upper 40s tomorrow. And it doesn't stop there. Wednesday, it'll be bright and beautiful with highs in the low 50s. And for Thursday, we spike to the upper 50s. Then, rain rolls in for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Right now, it's 35.
The Dom Salvia Show.
Musk is so arrogant that he is even intervening right here in the state of Wisconsin.
Republican Rep. Brian Stile said in a statement that Sanders was on a fear-mongering tour. Maybe you should be afraid when billionaires can buy the presidency.
Give you a point when we're at the. Are we just going to use Mr. Blue Sky?
I think that's a little scary.
Pardon?
And I think so. We the
should I just use Mr. Blue Sky?
Sure. Well, let's try that.
Okay, here's the part that I was thinking we could use. Or yeah, there's a couple parts that could work, but here's this. Well, all right, I'll play a little, but we don't have much time.
All right. Sure. That's right.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
Live from the Civic Media Studios at WRCE in Richland Center, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Allbaugh, along with our outstanding producer, Mr. Aaron Zommers, on the board. It is 6 past the hour of 1 o'clock. Welcome into hour number 2 of the big broadcast here on this Monday, March 24th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. As Terry said there at the top of the show, one more day here on location at the beautiful studios of WRCE, sister station to WRCO here in Richland Center, Wisconsin, the old hometown for Todd, the Driftless area. So fantastic to be out in this part of the state. You can actually hear birds in the morning, Mr. Zommers. When you wake up, you can hear them singing outside. The red-winged blackbirds are back. The robins are back. Spring is in the air. How about
there
that?
There were birds in the sky, and I never heard them singing.
Indeed.
You know, there's also birds outside my window for the last week or so. It's been very nice.
Yeah, it's great to have the birds back. Now, look, during the break, and coming up this hour, by the way, we're going to do some break into spring text to win contest. It's not really trivia, but whatever. Your chance to win big prizes. And I hear now that the tickets this hour, I've given it away. The prize this hour could be $100 one day. It could be a package to Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells another. But today, the prize is Brewers tickets. So we're going to do that. And everybody gets entered in that plays to win a Verlo mattress package. Going to have that. Going to have a little what's worse for you involving backs and posteriors. Which is worse in terms of having a sore one. Going to do that. And also a little news of the day here. But before we do any of that, a couple of people over the break texted in and said, Todd, what we really want to know, here's Tony watching on Facebook. What the heck with the real news? How'd your battle with the groundhog go?
I am also very curious. Inquiring minds want to know, Todd.
If you were not with us on Friday, here's the deal. I'm here. Mom still lives back here in Richland Center, and I was staying with her, and she has had a resident under the deck of the house that she does not want. She wants them evicted. It is a groundhog. And here's a hitherto unknown fact, as my former teacher Ken Lewis is fond of saying. Did you know this, Sommers? Male and female groundhogs do not live together. They have separate burrows.
I did not know that.
Yes, it's true. And so it appears now that she has a male groundhog, a single bachelor groundhog.
So, even worse.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the groundhog bats for my team or not. But it was a single male groundhog under the house. And so she has charged me with getting, and so we had a great segment last week. It was my favorite segment of the week, I think, where people called in and suggested how I could get rid of this groundhog. So I have the live trap. Mom already had a live trap. And so I have used the information from our listeners. I disguised the trap by putting some pine boughs and other stuff around it to make it look more camouflage. And I used cantaloupe and lettuce and put a little trail out front and then more in the back of the trap. So he has to go in and then set it and then trap himself. And I used pieces of wood and kind of made a V wide and then it narrowed to the part of the entry to the trap. I can report to you that so far the groundhog is still free. The groundhog is still on the loose. There is a groundhog on the loose. Like Tom says on YouTube, I want to see the live video of Todd getting the groundhog. All right, well, if it happens today, I'm going back to Madison today, but if it happens today, I will send you video of the captured groundhog. But the groundhog is still free.
It would be like Bill Murray in Caddyshack. And yeah, that's what I was thinking of too on Friday when people were calling in with tips on how to get the groundhog. It's just like the dancing groundhog that Bill Murray's trying to catch.
Well, it's not a gopher, you understand. It's a larger than a gopher. Larger than a gopher. It's a ground, but not a beaver. So it's somewhere between a beaver and a gopher. It's a groundhog. Anyway, we'll see. All right, 11 minutes now past the hour of 1 o'clock. I'm very excited, making a return. Get your cell phones out and your dialing, texting fingers ready. It is time once again for Civic Media's Break into Spring Text to Win contest.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Why did we go wrong? Blue sky, please tell us
Very good little ELO for not ELO, not LO, but ELO. Mr. Blue, do we like this?
Light Orchestra.
Electric Light Orchestra. Do we like this opening for this segment now? Because we're stuck with it for 2 weeks if we don't like it. Should it be that or should it be Springtime for Hitler?
We'll have to figure it out when you're back here.
From the musical, The Producers. But no, that was fine. That was a fine selection. All right, this is very exciting. For the next 2 weeks, tune in every day at this time in the 1 o'clock hour. I, your friendly radio and streaming host, Todd, will give you, our wonderful viewing and listening audience, a key word. What you do is you text it into us on the Civic Media app, and somebody this hour is going to win. Not from everybody else's show, just from people that listen in this hour. Somebody today is going to win a pair of Milwaukee Brewer tickets. Not just any tickets, by the way. These are club-level seats. They're right below the skyboxes. They have the nice arms on them. They're kind of cushioned. There is air conditioning right behind you if it gets too... And the great thing is that they have their own bathrooms for that level. Not your individual own bathroom, but it has been to the bathroom. It's hardly ever a line. The bathrooms, the concessions, it's all very, very nice. You understand?
Previous, games and concerts I've gone to, I'm always like, I don't want to go to the bathroom. I'm going to miss something. Right. And it's like in and out.
Yeah, in, out, over. So today somebody's going to win a pair of Milwaukee Brewer tickets, and then everybody who enters gets put into the hat, the metaphysical hat. And somebody after 2 weeks is going to win the grand prize. It is a fantastic mattress set from Verlo Mattress. And here's the thing. Springtime, we're coming out of our slumber, out of hibernation. We're a little more active, if you know what I mean, in spring. And so you're all set now with a brand new mattress to break that puppy in springtime. It'll be absolutely fantastic. So here's what I do. Here's what you do. If you say, well, Todd, how do I get the Civic Media app? Thank you so very much for asking. Go to your phone. One of these things right here, your smartphone, all right? And you go to your app store. On Apple, it looks like a letter A with popsicle sticks, and you click on that. There'll be a search bar. You type in Civic, C-I-V-I-C, Civic Media. It'll pop up a CM logo. You click on that. It'll take less than a minute. It's free. It isn't going to cost you anything. Don't ask for your social security number. Doesn't ask for a credit card number. It is free, all right? You download the app. Then, just like I have here on my great device. And then, after you open it up, look at this. It'll pop up. There's a list of all of our great stations. The first 11 are the news talk sports stations that we're on. You click on the one closest to you. If for whatever reason you don't have one close to you, just click on whichever one you'd like. Get started at WAUK at the top, Waukesha, Milwaukee. On the lower right-hand side, it says text with a couple of bubbles. Looks like cartoon bubbles. You click where it says text. Now it takes you right to your phone's text, and I'm going to give you a word every day. You type that word in and hit send. That's how easy it is. All right, let's go. Here we go. Today's Break into Spring Text to Win contest word is melt. The word is melt. M-E-L-T. In the spring, what will the snow do? It will melt. M-E-L-T. M-E-L-T. M is in Mary, E is in Edward, L is in Larry, T is in Todd. Melt. Make sure you type it exactly that way. Melt. Because here's the thing. If we got variations of that word, Zommers, I would say, we know what they meant. No big deal. But you understand, everything is computerized these days, right? So the computer reads these. To be eligible for the pair of Milwaukee Brewer tickets this hour and for the grand prize of the Verlo mattress, you have to type it exactly as I said it. Melt. M-E-L-T. Anything other than that, the computer rejects it and you're not put in there. So text carefully. Melt. M-E-L-T. You type in melt. You might get a reply back that says they got it, and they might ask you to do something else, sign up for a newsletter or whatever, something like that. If you don't have to, but if you do, guess what? That gets you a bonus entry. What my granddad used to call an extra. You got yourself an extra entry right there. So it's up to you. You could just do the MELT and do that, or you could follow up the confirmation text and do what it says and get yourself an extra entry. MELT, the word this hour.
You know the best part of this contest?
What is the best part?
It's statewide.
Good Lord. Thank you for reminding me that, because I would have been pulled over when I got back into Dane County. The lawyers tell me I have to tell you, as Amr says, in order to stay compliant with the law, and we don't want to fight the law because the law wins. This is a statewide contest. It's not just here in Richland County. It's not in Madison, not Milwaukee. It's every place in the state of Wisconsin. It is a statewide contest. Thank you, Zommers. All right, the word is melt. M-E-L-T. M-E-L-T. I'm excited about this one because somebody's going to go away, Zommers, this hour with these Brewers tickets. And of course, we're getting ready once again on several of our civic media stations to carry the Milwaukee Brewers radio network. Going to be very different this year without Bob Uecker after his passing in January. But Jeff Levering and the entire crew are set to go. Brewers had a pretty good spring training. Now it gets down to brass tacks. Jackson Churio, the phenom for the Brewers, had a particularly, I think he was close to hitting 500 in spring batting practice when Luke Mathers was down there doing some scouting. He said looked pretty good. So I think the Brewers are in for another exciting season. Coach Pat Murphy in his second year as skipper of the Brewers. Of course, Murph was named the National League Manager of the Year after getting the Brewers into the postseason once again. A lot of people didn't think they could compete for that. They won the Central Division. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting. All right, the text word this hour is melt. M-E-L-T. Text it in right now on the Civic Media app, and you could win 2 Milwaukee Brewers Club level tickets. Come on back. We'll do a little what's worse for you after this on the Civic Media Radio Network.
For Madison, real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
The Verlo mismatch sale is back.
LA Tom, watching on YouTube, texted in asking, so does this include people for California or not? That has been confusing in the past, and I asked for clarification, and unfortunately you are not going to be eligible for the contest. Yeah,
you have to live in Wisconsin.
Unless I'm misunderstanding.
You have to live in Wisconsin.
Yes.
That's
it is statewide, but it is exclusively statewide, I think.
So you have to be a resident of Wisconsin. I'm sorry, LA. I would have let you do it.
I just clicked on the terms and conditions on the website, and it's not working. So
It's not working, as it turns out.
So that's fun.
Just not working.
Iowa, like Virginia and
It's simply not working.
most of its alleged illegal voters were actually naturalized citizens. It's unclear how many were disenfranchised. Of the 277 Iowa non-citizens found to be illegally registered, only 35 voted. Illegal to be sure, but only 0.00209% of the over 1.67 million ballots cast.
30 seconds.
Gracias. Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along with us here. 21 now past the hour of 1 o'clock on Monday, the 24th. Todd's in Richland Center. People don't like, well, some people, I do it because I think it's funny occasionally. Talk about myself in the third person. And people say, why are you doing that? Because I just think I'm making fun of myself. It's weird. Anyway, I'm here in Richland Center.
It's a fun thing to do from time to time.
I don't do it all. There are people that do it all the time. I don't do that.
That's too much, but you don't do it all the time.
No, I try that too. Anyway, I'm in Richland Center. Beautiful to be RCE Studios. I'll be back in the Madison Studios tomorrow. We have a brand new, thanks to our great engineering team, a brand new table to sit at. I understand this. I could just have like food brought in, DoorDash constantly.
The fruit plate. Jane still hasn't gotten a fruit plate in Racine, but now you're going to get one here.
Right, exactly. So I'm very excited about that tomorrow. I'll be back at the home studio with Mr. Zommers as well. Right now, we're in the middle of the Text to Win Spring into Springtime. No, Spring into Spring. Break into Spring. Springtime trivia, Text to Win. And here, there's no trivia. All you have to do is text us on the Civic Media app. You understand? The keyword this hour is MELT. M-E-L-T. M as in Mary, E-L-T. MELT. Text MELT right now. And somebody this hour, not from the entire day, it's just from the pool of people that text this hour. So your chances are pretty good statistically. Somebody this hour is going to win a pair of Milwaukee Brewer tickets at the club level section. Beautiful, plush, fantastic seats. MELT, M-E-L-T. And everybody will be put into the pool to win a brand new mattress set from Verlo Mattress. And who doesn't need a brand new mattress in springtime?
I could use one. Mine's getting a little uneven. It's pretty old.
I hear you.
I, however, cannot enter this contest.
No, we are not eligible. MELT, M-E-L-T is the word you want to enter in right now. All right, 23 past the hour, 1 o'clock. Let's open it up. Time once again for What's Worse. Here we go.
This or that, this or that. Then, of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with
Time
that.
once again for What's Worse. I'm not going to say what I usually say because that'll mix people up because we are actually giving things away this hour. Giving away those Brewer tickets, but you have to text the word MELT to do the Brewers tickets. This is just for fun. All right. You can do both, by the way. You can text MELT and be eligible for the Brewers tickets and the Verlo mattress, and you can call us or text for today's What's Worse. And this is timely because speaking of springtime, a lot of people are going out and doing spring work in their gardens or their lawns. They're trying to catch rogue groundhogs. It can weigh on your back, you understand? And then some of us are sitting in a chair way too long, watching way too much sports and football or basketball right now. And also, like, have you ever fallen and hurt your tailbone or your hip or something like that? Your posterior? So here's the question today. What's worse? A sore back or a sore ass?
Well, see, the way I interpreted it, because we have these great pictures now, and a sore back has a person grabbing their back, and you can see an outline of the spine in red. Like, clearly they're in pain. And a sore ass has a picture of an older guy in a suit, just kind of a little hunched over with his brow furrowed and red glasses and a big frown on his face. So I'm thinking it's more like a sore ass as in a person who's just grumpy and irritable.
I see. I thought about a sore ass. Like he's just a sore ass. I was taking it literally. like you fell or you spent too much time sitting.
I did have that the first time I got COVID.
And you're saying that, no, this is just a sore ass. It's a guy who's just always grumpy. All right, well, take it whatever way you want. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. What's worse, a sore back or a sore ass? It depends on how you say it, right?
It does.
All right.
A sore ass or a sore ass?
All right. What's worse, a sore back or a sore ass?
Greg from Genesee Depot
that's what
says
you
sore
use,
back.
by the way. That's what you use when you're trying to look up and find out an alternative word. You use a saurus. All right, what have you got? Go ahead.
Greg in Genesee Depot texts in that a sore back is worse, and Todd in Oshkosh text in a thorax, like the body part of an insect.
That would be a combination, right? Very good. What's worse, a sore back or a sore ass? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. We have lots going on this half hour, Roberts. You could text us the keyword of MELT, M-E-L-T, to be eligible to win Milwaukee Brewers tickets this hour and a brand new mattress. And you could also text us or call in for what's worse, a sore back or a sore ass. It really does depend on how you say it.
It really does.
Right. All right, well, we'll do that. Calls coming in fast and furious here, or at least text messages. We appreciate everybody who is doing that. Brian in Milwaukee, listening on WAUK, says, you said sore ass as in butt? Well, that's the question. Is it relating to, like, sitting on your posterior too long, or is it what Zomer said, a person who's just always angry, grumpy, and sore all the time? Is it a sore ass or a sore ass? 855-752-4842. 855-782-4842. Try that again, Todd. How many times do I say this? 855-752-4842. Let's go to Jim, listening on AUK in Brookfield. Jim, a sore back or a sore ass? What's worse?
Tom, a sore back. It's much more incapacitating. You can't move around. With a sore ass, all you have to do is sit on your ass. But with a sore back, it's hard to get up and move around.
I think you're absolutely right, because at different times in my life, I've had a really bad back problem. And it can be debilitating, right?
Yes.
Now, what's your remedy? Do you just going to walk it off? Do you use a chiropractor, a massage therapist, a doctor, meds? How do you take care of it?
I get the heating pad, take some ibuprofen, get the heating pad, and put it on my back and lay on it. And maybe a warm shower, too, get that warm water on the back, but heat, and ibuprofen.
That's a good way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate the call. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Come on back. We'll play a little bit more of what's worse, some news as well. Don't go anywhere. And don't forget, text the word MELT, M-E-L-T, this hour to win Milwaukee Brewers tickets. You could be you. Come on back.
Great conversation. 92.7 WMDX. You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic
We
Media
got a message
on
from
Facebook, X, and Instagram.
LA Tom says sore back is worse than anything.
Yeah.
And Tony on Facebook says sore back definitely from someone who can only stand or walk for about 15 minutes at a time. Yeah, that
Protests
is
are
awful.
growing here in Wisconsin over changes to the U.S. Postal Service. The Trump administration has cut thousands of jobs in the federal government and USPS
I had to have
workers
physical
who
therapy
want
when
to
I was
see it
in like
happen
middle
to
school
them.
or high school
Plus, Republicans have discussed
because
the
of
possibility
scoliosis
privatizing
in my
the
back,
Postal
and I think I
Service.
might have to do that
Over
again
the last
soon.
few days, people have protested here in Madison, in Green Bay,
So I
La
agree
Crosse, and Milwaukee.
that a sore back is
there
worse.
were protests all over the country
If it's a
yesterday.
sore ass,
Union
you can just
leaders
lay
say
down instead of
everyone
sitting.
uses
And if it's a sore
USPS,
ass,
and
you can just
cuts
walk
or
away as long as your
privatization
back
would
isn't
hurt
too sore.
Wisconsinites, especially in rural areas. According to the federal government, some locations are already facing shortages that can hurt performance and contribute to delays. Organizers and union leaders are planning more demonstrations in the future, including one in Janesville on Thursday. And switching gears, some Wisconsin otters decided to make a run for it. Here's Lisa
I was going to use this.
North American river otters are known for being playful and quite
The otters?
mischievous.
Yeah.
They love to slide and slip and do all sorts of cool little things. Louie and Ophelia, who reside at the new zoo in the greater Green Bay area, have proven the fact and are sending zoo officials on a bit of a chase. Thursday, during the
Tyler in
recent
Columbia
storm
County
that
has a
dumped
good
so much snow on
message.
the area, Louie and Ophelia escaped their
Hang on.
enclosure through
Hang
a
on.
small
There's something
breach in
else.
fencing.
All
The zoo
right.
said keepers noticed right away that they had escaped and initiated protocols to find them. The otters are no danger to the public, but they're looking for them and hope to have them home as soon as possible. The new zoo Facebook page has several videos from the zoo and the community at large of the naughty otters playing and slip-sliding around in the snow.
Sometimes you just want to hear a cute story about some otters. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. I don't usually break news here, even if it's entertainment related, but there is always an exception. Vanna White, who has been turning letters on Wheel of Fortune for 43 years, recently disclosed to Drew Barrymore on her talk show that she has worn over 8,000 dresses. That's almost 1,000 more than Pat Sajak recently confessed to wearing. The beloved 68-year-old White says she's never taken a dress home, but the show does lend them out to her occasionally for big events. The wardrobe disclosure comes after White confessed to only working 34 days a year. What is the secret to keeping a show on the air for a long stretch? Many would say is to keep infusing it with fresh talent, whether it be writing,
Tom,
producing, or
that's
casting.
not
The
nice.
Emmy-winning show Only Murders in the
the
Building
text
has
one.
adapted that formula as they've added many actors over the years. The most recent addition to the cast will be Christoph Waltz. Variety reports that the two-time Oscar winner will join the show for season 5. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
Sunny and breezy today, with high temperatures reaching the mid-40s, climbing to the upper 40s tomorrow. And it doesn't stop there. Wednesday, it'll be bright and beautiful with highs in the low 50s. And for Thursday, we spike to the upper 50s. Then, rain rolls in for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlau. Currently, it's 36 degrees.
I was listening, but you didn't say it.
Looking to strengthen the bond with your pup? Dane County Humane Society offers a variety of dog training classes led by certified trainers. Classes are designed to help you and your furry friend learn new skills, improve behavior, and deepen your connection. Whether your dog is a curious puppy, an independent teenager, or a lifelong learner, DCHS has the tools and expertise to help you set the stage for a successful year ahead. Visit giveshelter.org/dog training to register today.
LA Tom texting in about the definition of an otter. Yep.
Good morning, Joe.
I don't mind a good otter now and again.
Oh, also, Tom texting about the California number. It doesn't matter where your phone number is from. It matters where you live. If you have a Wisconsin address or something you can count as a Wisconsin address, then you can enter the contest.
Isn't that shocking? Is it what the
All right, we got about 20 seconds.
for something like that?
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead, and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Now, 34 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock on this Monday, the 24th of March, 2025. Glad to have you along. Zahmer's back at the World Headquarters in Madison, where I will be tomorrow, along with him. Today, one more day here at beautiful studios in Richland Center at WRCE. We are right in the middle of a couple of different things going on today. First and foremost, somebody this hour, in the next 25 minutes, somebody's going to go home, or at least be told they will win a pair, 2 Milwaukee Brewers tickets to the club level at AmFam Field. We are in the middle of our Break into Spring Text to Win contest. Everybody who plays gets entered in for the grand prize of a Verlo mattress set. All you have to do is text the word MELT, M-E-L-T, MELT. Text it in right now. You have until the top of the hour to be eligible. All right, so go ahead and do that. Also asking what's worse today, our regular segment, a sore back or a sore ass? Now, is it a sore ass or a sore ass?
We've gotten some texts.
Both ways. But it goes both ways, as it turns out. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Brian in Milwaukee listening on WAUK. Brian, what's worse, a sore back or a sore ass?
Probably a sore ass. I mean, the more I think about it, it really depends what you eat, too. There was one time at my grandparents' 70th wedding anniversary, we had a eating competition with spicy buffalo wings.
Oh, boy.
At the same time, my cousin and I were eating them. The record player was playing Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire. And, yeah, when you can't sit for a week, that's a problem.
That's an entirely different take, but I think we've all been there at one point or another when you've simply had too much spicy food. And the fact that Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire was playing at the same time. Stay away from the spicy buffalo wings, right?
Unfortunately, fitting.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Appreciate you playing along. What's worse, a sore back or a sore ass? 855-752-4842. You can also text us on the Civic Media app. Also, hit us up on Facebook like Tony did. Tony says a sore back is worse. Definitely from someone who can only stand or walk for only 15 minutes at a time. Yeah, legit back problems can be debilitating. I mean, it really is serious stuff. So, anything else on the... Oh, Amanda, watching on Facebook, says
Our friend from WGBW.
Oh, yes, Amanda WGBW. Very good. A sore back. Great station, by the way. And coming up tonight, from the studios at WGBW at 6 o'clock, our great friend and colleague Pete Schwaba has on one of our favorite people and guests who appears on this program occasionally, the wonderful John Roach. Great filmmaker, great person, Wisconsin alum. I'm sure he'll be talking with Pete tonight about his brand new documentary coming out at the Wisconsin Film Festival about Howard Moore's family, the basketball coach at Wisconsin, his wife and daughter were killed in a wrong way drunk driving accident that hit he and his family. Howard Moore and his son survived, and then Howard Moore had a stroke during recovery, and his complete journey. It's an incredible film. So join John Roach tonight on Pete Schwaba's Nightlight at 6 o'clock. Anyway, Amanda says a sore back is worse. Laying down can fix a sore ass, but not your back, depending upon where it hurts. Well, that's true, right? Appreciate that, Amanda.
I'm going to have to agree. I think that a sore back is worse because whether you mean a sore ass or a sore ass, with a sore ass, like Amanda says, you can lay down to relieve the pressure. But with a sore ass, you can just walk away.
You're right.
Unless your back is too sore.
Here's somebody from in Dalyville, Ken Bob. I like that name. Ken Bob in Dalyville texting in and saying a sore back is much worse than a sore ass. If your ass is sore, you can cure it by just getting off of it, whereas sore backs are notoriously hard to get rid of. Well, that's very good. That's
Tyler
also
in
very...
Columbia County texts in and says a sore back is worse. A sore ass only happens with me after a good day of riding my motorcycle.
Very good. L.A. Tom checking in from beautiful Los Angeles, California, saying, I've had 2 back surgeries from playing football, and it's debilitating. And it also puts you in the worst move. I'm not sure
I
what
think puts you in the worst mood.
Oh,
It might be.
puts you.
Sometimes
got
he
it.
uses voice to text.
It puts you in the worst mood. Yeah, you're right. I mean, boy, it can like I say, back surgeries or back problems are nothing to sneeze at. Marty checking in from Bangor. Is that Bangor, Maine, perhaps? Or maybe, no, it's a Bangor on western Wisconsin there near the Mississippi River. On WLCX out of La Crosse, Marty in Bangor says, quote, I'm a sore ass. Smart ass. A sore back is much worse. Well, at least he admits it, right? Very good. What else do we have here? LA Tom checking in with, for those that didn't hear, there was a great story by Brittany Merlot on otters. There are 2 otters that escaped from the Green, I'm not making this up, from the Green Bay Zoo. Now, I'm not sure if they're hanging out with the groundhog down here, but this is real. And they're trying to lure them back in. So that's LA Tom talking about otters there. What's worse, a sore back or a sore ass? Here's Sherry from Horicon listening on WAUK says, I have a sore butt. I got an 8-hour, she had an 8-inch tumor removed. Oh my gosh. That's terrible. That can be very painful.
That would make that worse for you in particular.
That would make that very bad. Steve in beautiful Mount Horeb listening on WMDX says a sore back. Hard to pick anything up with a sore back. Yes.
Very true. Todd,
Absolutely.
what about you?
I think that a sore back is worse as well. As someone who I don't want to call it debilitating back issues, but I have had back issues before, and it can really put you out of commission for a while. So I would definitely say a sore back is worse. All right. And you've already gone, right? You already said what you thought.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Very good. So there you go. There's a little what's worse for you. Appreciate everybody that played along today. More in our second hour tomorrow. And right now, as we said, until the end of this hour, our text to win contest, text the word MELT, MELT, MELT to the Civic Media app. Somebody this hour is going to win a pair of Milwaukee Brewer tickets, and everybody is eligible for that Verlo mattress set, which is a grand prize. All right, a little quiz question for you today. Which U.S. senator said this? Which U.S. senator said this? And I quote, I do not want to see the Republican Party ride to political victory on the 4 horsemen of calumny: fear, ignorance, bigotry, and smear. As an American, I condemn a Republican fascist just as much as I condemn a Democrat communist. They are equally dangerous to you and me and our country. As an American, I want to see our nation recapture the strength and unity it once had when we fought the enemy instead of ourselves. Unquote. Which U.S. senator said that? Any guesses, Summers?
I'm going to take a guess, wait, hold on. First, let me double check that this person is a senator. Yes, okay.
All right.
Mitt Romney.
That would be a very good guess, actually. A very, very good guess. And I bet if we put that out there, we get more guesses for that one. I'm just going to say it because I don't want to call it a trick question, but it's interesting. It's even before my time. The person that said that was, in fact, a Republican. She was from Maine, not Susan Collins. It was Margaret Chase Smith, Republican of Maine, who said it on June 1st, 1950.
Wow.
In the United States Senator. She was the rare individual brave enough to put country ahead of party and ahead of self, to stand up to, guess who? Wisconsin's very own Senator Joe McCarthy and his ilk. McCarthy, of course, was a liar, a bully, a fearmonger, so bad that his tactics are still known as what? McCarthyism. Chase ended her comments that day with this warning, and I quote again, "It is high time that we all stop being tools and victims of totalitarian techniques that, if continued here unchecked, will surely end what we have come to cherish as the American way of life. Unquote. Again, the words of Margaret Chase Smith, Republican of Maine, who said these words on June 1st, 1950. The more things change, unfortunately, they stay the same. But think about that. A Republican back in 1950 standing up to Wisconsin's very own Joe McCarthy because of what he was doing was simply un-American. And unfortunately, that has continued into today. A little post here by the Intellectualist over the weekend on Donald Trump's mass deportation machine and the shadow prison in El Salvador. Not missing, disappeared. No phone call, no charges, no lawyer. And days later, a message appears that an individual has been deported to a country he's never been to, locked in a concrete hell designed for gang leaders and killers. That's not a story from Argentina's dirty war or Stalin's gulags. It happened in the United States in 2025, and it's still happening. The story says in the Intellectualist as you read this. It's the story of the disappeared 238 Venezuelan men secretly deported by the Trump administration to El Salvador's most notorious prison, CICOT, a facility condemned by the United Nations, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch for crimes against human dignity. And over the weekend, many of these stories have come out. One, Andreas Enrique Caraballo, a 23-year-old man who is a makeup artist and a hairstylist who happens to be gay. And there was a Time reporter, a Time photographer, like Time magazine, got access and was embedded in this prison in El Salvador as these people were taken in, doing intake. And as they're shaving his head and pushing him to the floor, he's screaming, I'm a makeup artist. I'm not a member of any gang. And what's happened here, here's an individual who came into the country legally because of delays in the paperwork and the processing. He became, without papers that were current and got swept into this and shipped off to El Salvador with no due process. As I said last week on this program, I'm not here to defend legitimate criminals. That's not the point. The point is, in the United States of America, we have something called the Bill of Rights, in which that guarantees rights to everyone, not just citizens. There's a way to do things in this country. Had the story last week, was in the Journal Sentinel and USA Today. An American, a white guy, I'm just going to say that because that matters to some people. A white guy from Wisconsin, a Wisconsin native, married a woman from Peru. They went on their honeymoon to Puerto Rico. He says he was a Trump voter and still is. When they came back into the country, his wife was detained by ICE and taken to detention. This power that Trump is seizing, in which they want to defy the courts and the judicial branch of government, is deeply disturbing. And it's setting up a constitutional crisis that we're already in. And now Trump today is taking part of this and petitioning the U.S. Supreme Court to take these things up because they don't want judges, in their words, interfering. Spooky stuff. Come on back. We'll wrap up the show after this here in our studios at WRCE in Richland Center. It's the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Madison's real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate.
Oh, I
Folks,
forgot. I
we've
was
gotta
going to
talk
use
about Derek Van Orden. The
Ring of Fire
second-term
on the way out.
congressman representing Wisconsin's 3rd district is at it again.
Probably,
Dodging
it was,
public meetings
we
and
were
making
pretty
all
serious.
kinds
It was
of
too
comments.
serious, yeah.
As many
Good, actually,
scramble
better
and
move that
struggle
you
to
did.
understand the chaos of what's
Even if I had it
happening in
ready, I
Washington,
think I was going to
and
use
how
that.
it's impacting
Just
people here in Wisconsin, Van Orden has been as frustrating and disrespectful as ever. In one instance, Van Orden took to social media to berate a veteran who had been fired from his job at the VA by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. And the veteran in question is simply someone who was just reaching out to his congressman, looking for answers. Van Orden's office has also hastily canceled public meetings, and he has made some especially wild accusations about people who have been attending these public events. Congressman Van Orden needs to stop this unhinged madness, and more importantly, be more available and accountable to his constituents.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area and on our website at civicmedia.us.
At Civic Media, we encourage active political engagement and remind listeners to think critically about political advertisements you may hear during this critical election year. Our stations are licensed by the FCC and are required to accept all ads for federal candidates. We also air state and local candidates as well as paid ads from issue and PAC groups. Truth is rarely as simple as any political ad may claim. So again, we urge you to think critically about what you hear in the spirit of promoting authentic
we
and
meeting with
respectful
Luke
civic
at
dialogue.
2:15.
Winter is out and winning
I thought it was
is in.
Tuesdays.
In our Break in the Spring statewide text to win contest
I
on
don't
your
know.
local Civic Media radio station.
I'll ask him right
I'll
after
remember
For
the
this
show.
terms and
What?
conditions, log on
I'll ask him after the show.
civicmedia.us/contest-terms. Good luck.
Welcome back to the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along. It is now 9 before the hour of 2 o'clock. Coming up at the top of the hour, a little news for you from ABC or CBS Radio News, depending upon which of the great stations you are listening to across Civic Media's network. A little check of weather from our meteorology team. Mike Clemens, our great sports reporter, talking more about that great Badger women's hockey victory over the weekend. National champions for the 8th time. Truly incredible. Wisconsin men's basketball team, Marquette men's basketball team, both take losses on the first weekend. They are done, but the tournament continues to the Sweet 16 next weekend. Looking forward to that. And then after that, Maggie Dawn. The Maggie Dawn show every afternoon from 2 until 4. But today, our very own in Madison, John and Gordy, filling in for Maggie Dawn all week, right? John and Gordy are all week. Yes. So it's a chance for you to get a taste of their show. And John and Gordy, by the way, those guys deserve some, I don't know, extra bagels or something because they're doing their own show from 6 until 8 in the morning on WMDX in Madison. And then they're coming back in and doing Maggie's show every afternoon this week from 2 until 4. How about that? They're great.
An impressive haul for sure.
An impressive haul. We appreciate them. And then after that, of course, it's Dom Salvia from 4 until 6. And then, as we said before, the great show Nightlight with Pete Schwaba from 6 until 8. And tonight, John Roach going to be joining Pete Schwaba on that show. Should be a great one. It always is. All right. And don't forget also, have a few more minutes, like 5-6 more minutes here, to text in the word MELT, MELT. Download, if you don't have it already, download the Civic Media app. Go to any of the first 11 stations, open it up. You'll see in the lower right-hand corner, it'll say text, T-E-X-T. Click on the text, and then you're entered. Then you type in the word MELT, M-E-L-T. Hit send. Somebody this hour is going to win a pair of Milwaukee Brewers baseball tickets to the club level. It's fantastic. Great view, great seats. And then everybody gets entered in for the Verlo Mattress Grand Prize. Going to be fun, going to be great. So text in the word MELT, M-E-L-T, this hour. Going to talk a little bit more about this tomorrow. But I wanted to touch on something else that happened over the weekend. Not getting a lot of news this morning. This comes to us from James Tate. Says Jessica Aber's death feels like one of those stories that's meant to fade quietly into the background, a tragic headline that people are supposed to forget. But when a career prosecutor who spent her life chasing Russian cyber criminals, CIA leaks, and war criminals turns up dead just after resigning, forgetting isn't an option. Aber, the former U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, was found dead at her home in Alexandria, Virginia on March 22nd. She was just 43 years old. Police have not said how she died, but the timing and her unfinished business makes it impossible to ignore. The prosecutor who wouldn't back down, Jessica Aber, wasn't just a lawyer. She was the person you sent in when things got messy. Back in January, just before her resignation, Aber helped to put Ashif Rahman, a former CIA analyst, behind bars for leaking top-secret information about Israeli military plans against Iran. The information ended up splashed across social media last year. Aber didn't mince words when Rahman pleaded guilty. She warned that his leak had, quote, placed lives at risk and compromised our ability to collect vital intelligence in the future, unquote. That's prosecutor speak, for this guy seriously screwed things up. Whenever Rahman leaked, it wasn't just embarrassing, it was dangerous. Big cases, bigger enemies. Aber's case didn't stop there. In November of last year, her office prosecuted a Virginia-based company accused of funneling sensitive U.S. technology to a Russian telecom firm with Kremlin ties. Was not exactly an accident. The company allegedly disguised shipments and played fast and loose with American tech and Russia wasn't supposed to have. And there were more crimes and indictments. Disturbing is what I'll say.
Chilling is the word that came to my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Jessica Aber knew that things mattered, things that powerful people wanted buried. She chased down those Russian cyber criminals, locked up a CIA leaker who compromised military intelligence, and tangled with foreign operatives who wouldn't hesitate to make problems disappear. And now she's gone. And the timing stinks. Maybe her death was just an awful accident and coincidence. Maybe it wasn't. But when people investigating corruption start turning up dead, there's only one possible thing to do: to start asking louder questions. That is via MSNBC and James Tate. I think it's important to keep Jessica Aber's story alive, to keep her memory alive, her service alive, and to be vigilant in these very dangerous times when you have an administration, and the Trump administration, who now wants the Supreme Court to give them leverage because people are being, their words, instigators, unquote. That'll do it for today. About a minute left. If you want to text the word, do it now. MELT, M-E-L-T. Text MELT on the Civic Media app. You can win those Brewer tickets and also be eligible for a brand new mattress. We'll all be back in Madison tomorrow with Zommers. Looking forward to that. Check in 1 week to go before the Supreme Court and DPI election next Tuesday, April 1st. We'll preview that, so be with us then. Many thanks to Philny and the great folks here at WRCE, WRCO. Whatever you are fighting for, whatever you believe in, do not give up. Keep banging your drum. We'll see you tomorrow.
Banging on your drum, and they will hear you.
All right, everybody, we appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Adios.